right, boys and girls, so today we're going to be working with something called form. And in art, there are the 7 elements: line, shape, color, value, space, texture, and form. And each one of them talks about a different component in our art world. So on the paper, we have 2 shapes. We have a circle and we have a square. And our circle can be measured across. It can be measured up and down for the height and for the width. Our square can be measured across for the width, up and down for the height. These are shapes. They only have 2 dimensions, width and height. A form is something with 3 dimensions. It's 3D, it's 3-dimensional. It has height, it has width, and it has depth. So we can take a shape such as a circle, and when we have a ball, that becomes our form. So now we still have width. We can measure how wide it is. We can measure how tall it is, but we can also measure how deep it is. How thick is that object? With our square, we can get a cube. And again, we can measure how tall it is. We can measure how wide it is. And we can also measure how deep it is. How far back does that object go? And this is the 3D or the form version, okay? Now, when we draw forms, we have to do different things so that we can show that there is depth. There's a trick to drawing them so that we can see how deep something is. So if I took my square and if I wanted it to look like it was a cube, I can show those thicknesses by bringing these lines back to show that that is no longer a square, it is now a cube. We are going to be doing that with a coffee cup today. So we are going to be drawing a coffee cup. We're going to show that it has an inside, and it's going to start to look like it is a form. It's going to be the drawing version. It's not going to be 3-dimensional to the touch, but it will be 3-dimensional to the look. So we're going to do something similar to this on our paper. When you're working on this today, you want your paper nice and tall. And the first thing we're going to start with is the inside, the top edge of our cup. And you'll notice if I look at it straight down, it's a perfect circle. But as it starts to tip, that shape that we see changes. It becomes almost an illusion. So we are going to start with an oval for the top of our cup. So that we can start to show that illusion that we see looking into that, okay? Then I'm going to bring my sides down. Notice I'm curving them just a little bit. And then the bottom also has that little bit of a curve to it when it's tipped. So we're gonna close it with a curve similar to the one up top, so that we start to create our cup. And then we're gonna, of course, want to put the handle on there, because what is a coffee cup without its handle? And so we can do a curve like this. We want that to also have some thickness to it, so we can imagine holding it as we drink our cup of cocoa. Next, we're going to add the table. We don't want our cup just floating in space. And we're going to do that by creating a horizontal line. I touch my cup and I stop. I imagine where it goes. Oop, a little bit's going to be in that handle. And I bring this all the way across. From here, our next step is adding designs. Our next step is adding the steam coming out of our mug. So if we were to have a cup of cocoa, I like mine with marshmallows. So I'm gonna add a couple marshmallows in there. Same idea, little ovals. bring the sides down and curve them. Get those marshmallows floating in there. And then I'm going to draw where that cocoa is at. And I'm going to do some wiggly lines to show that my cocoa is hot. And now it's time to add patterns and designs to my coffee cup. You can do any kind of designs and patterns that you like. The table area should be one design, the wall should be a design, and your cup can have a design. Okay, with that, I have finished my coffee cup picture. You can do any kind of patterns you like. You decide. Think about your colors. If you pay attention or looked at what I did, I worked with warm colors, red and orange and yellow and pink in my background areas. And then I put cool colors in my cup, and that helps create separation so that the cup stands out from the details in the background. I could reverse it. I could use purples, blues, and greens in my table and in my wall. And then I could put reds, oranges, yellows, and pinks on my cup as another way to separate it out. You do want to be careful here where I did blue on the bottom. If my coffee cup was blue, I wouldn't want my tablecloth to be blue because then they would blend together. Have fun, get creative. Can't wait to see what you come up with for your coffee cups.